The day that my daughter was born 13 years ago, I quit my job that exact same day. And it was for a lot of reasons. I was, obviously not super happy where I was, but more than anything, I just wanted to take really good care of my daughter. Like I wanted to be present. And I was really young. I was only 27. So I don't know exactly why I felt like it was something I had to do because I was a kid essentially. And I knew right away that we were going to homeschool. That made sense. And we care a lot about our education. My wife did great in school. I did terrible in school. I was like the worst kid ever. But I love learning more than anything. And so I love reading and I love just learning. It's exciting. And when we started thinking about homeschooling, I had the question of what are the things that we need to teach our children? That's like a big deal. And especially today, I think for the first time ever in history, we have no idea what the world is going to be like in a few years. Just have no clue. Like everything is changing so quickly, and it's, getting kind of weird in a lot of ways. And it like a different type of weird. So it's a really good question. Like, what are we going to teach our children? Like, what do they need to know in order to thrive in the future, regardless of what happens? There's a lot of answers to that question, but there's one thing that I care about a lot, and that is because of my background, and is that they need to know a lot about food. That means understanding nutrition. That means understanding the food system in general, so where your food comes from, and soil science, and the environmental and economic impact of food, and how to do it better. Because the sad reality is that 99.9% of food at the grocery store is not really food. Even the meat and the veggies are produced in a way that is incredibly harmful to the world and to our bodies and to those animals and to the land. And I mean, it's a pretty terrible system, unfortunately. So it is very important to me that my kids know as much as possible about food that I care a lot about. Developing a healthy relationship with food is a lifelong journey. Oh, that's true. I care a lot about it because that is a tangible way that I know will generate a better future for them, because if they understand the things that I just mentioned, it empowers them to take control of their health, which ultimately what we want as parents is we want our children to be healthy and we want them to be happy, right? I mean, that's really all we want. And I know I have friends that have kids who have like pretty serious autoimmune stuff. That's really, really, really crazy. And nobody wants it. So eating is one of those things that if we teach them to do it the right way, then that can drastically make their lives better. And it also empowers them to be part of a community, because one of the things that I believe in more than anything is that in nutrition, people don't talk about this very much, but I think the key to health really comes through healthy food. Yes, of course, but more than anything, it comes through community. And eating is that. That's what it's supposed to be. That's what we've been doing for thousands of years. We eat together. It was the original way that we showed somebody else that we loved them. And it's like it's a motherly thing. When I think about food, like great food, the greatest food, I think about my grandma. And like if you go to Latin America, which is where I grew up, and you walk into kitchens, even in restaurants, most of the time is females cooking, and it's their way of showing love. Like it's like kitchens in South America, because of that energy, are so much better than kitchens in the US. And I've been cooking in the US for 20 plus years. I cooked for NBA players, NFL players, and for Hollywood celebrities. And I owned a business it was called Sustainable Meals. But the reason why I think this is so important is because I honestly think that this can change everything. Like, I think it can make it better, because if we are supporting the right food producers, really what that means is that they're really small local farms, local ranches, fishermen, like people in our community, then the economy is going to be super strong because we're supporting people from where we live. Of course, we're eating healthier food, because food that comes from close to where you live is always going to be the healthiest. It's trackable, and it's going to be more nutrient dense because it's picked up when it's supposed to, as opposed to pretty much everything at the grocery store. And to be honest, it's challenging to try to eat everything local. It's like really, really difficult. So the idea is that we should try the best that we possibly can, and as we do that, then we know that we're making things a little bit better. And the whole point is that we're supposed to leave the world a little bit better for our children. Like, that's the whole point.